Hi guys, welcome back to Daniel Rosehill Plus here on YouTube. My name's Daniel Rosehill. This is my second YouTube channel where I upload a bunch of random videos with no interconnection, basically. Today I want to talk about the difference between custom earplugs and really talk about what custom earplugs are and just compare them briefly to the loops as well. So these are the freaky looking custom earplugs I picked up this week from my local audiology clinic. And I talked in my last video about dealing with this thing called sound sensitivity, which I've had my whole life, and basically when there are loud noises I find it hard to concentrate on focus work. So if I'm trying to do something like write a white paper or edit a video and there's a TV next to me, or there's people having a loud conversation next to me, or there are a bunch of cars outside honking their horns, and I can hear that, it kind of cuts through my ability to focus. And this problem of noise sensitivity, from my observation, is quite common among two real groups of people, neurodivergent people. One, people with ADHD, and the other one being people with autism. Very common in autism for sensory stuff to be part of the picture, even though I don't personally have autism. And ADHD, which I definitely have been diagnosed with, very common for sensory input like sound to exacerbate concentration focus difficulties. So basically I discovered recently at the age of 34 this wonderful product called loops. Loop is basically a sort of rejigging on the traditional earplug format, whereby earplugs are just kind of stuff you pick off the shelf and they cost about $1. They're probably made by 3M or someone like 3M. And they're just not very good, really. And the earplugs are just designed with, let's block out as much noise as possible. The novelty of loops really is that they have different products. These are my 3 loops. I have the Quiet, the Experience, and the Engage Plus, and I have my switches on the way, so I really like them. I'm trying out all their products. And they make earplugs that are firstly intended for ongoing daily use. That's the first thing that distinguishes them from classic earplugs. And secondly, they make earplugs for, some of them are intended to block out as much noise as possible, the Quiets, and other ones are intended to block out only certain frequencies. For instance, the Engage Plus and the Experience. And the idea there is that you put them in if you're at a bar but you wanted to have a conversation with somebody, but you might want to filter out, let's say, the distracting background music. So for folks dealing with sensory processing disorder, sound sensitivity, autism, ADHD, these products are really, really popular, and I do recommend them. However, the gold standard in earplugs is custom fitted earplugs, what I'm holding in my hand. And I want to just talk briefly today because there still isn't a ton of info on them online about basically how to get them. So custom earplugs are basically custom fitted to your ear, and everybody's ear shape is unique. So the flaw with traditional earplugs, and including loops, is that they're the same for everybody, but everybody's ear canal is a little bit different anatomically. It's like apparently it's as unique as our fingerprint. If that wasn't correct, please feel free to correct me. But in any event, they're certainly very unique. And to get these custom fitted earplugs made up, you go to an audiologist, and you basically, the way it worked for me was I told them why I needed these earplugs. It was for sleep, and that's important, that if you want to wear them while you sleep, you're going to tell the audiologist that, because they're going to make them a little bit differently, that they will stay in while you're sleeping. And the other thing that I had was I was able to choose the color. So I went for a skin tone or something sort of matching my skin tone approximately, but they presented me with about 10 different colors. So if I wanted them in black or white or a different color entirely, they could have done them up in that way. The process of getting them fitted, as I mentioned, it's generally a service you'll see offered in audiology clinics. So wherever you are in the world, get onto Google or Yelp and put in audiologists or audiology clinics and see if your local audiology clinic either offers the service. In terms of cost, so these cost me about $150, and that's actually pretty cheap. I was looking at some quotes in the US for more like $400 or $500. Now, I'm sure there are differences in custom earplugs. I don't know exactly what material they used. But if you do go to a kind of specialist who does this, they might give you a choice of different materials depending on whether you want to use them for day, for night, for day and night. So expect to pay in the region of 150 to a few $100. But on the plus side, if you are, and I've made this point regarding the loops, that if you're buying earplugs every single day, A, they're not going to be as comfortable, and B, the cost is going to add up. Now, just regarding what these are like to use, firstly, I've slept in these for about the last 5 nights and I haven't found any discomfort. In terms of cleaning, you wash them in soap and water. I'm doing it every day because I'm wearing them every day. And that's basically it in terms of the care for these. And how do they work? What's my sort of feeling of these versus loops? So I would say firstly, they're more comfortable, and I do think they block out more noise. Now for the loops, the noise reduction ratio, or the NRR, even on the quiets, is not that amazing. It's something like 24 decibels, I think. So you'll actually find off-the-shelf earplugs currently with a higher NRR. I don't know what the NRR of these is supposed to be, or because they're not really a standardized product, I'm not sure there is one, but I would say that they seem to block out a bit more noise and they're more comfortable. Now, obviously the difference in price between $150 and a $20, $30 product is significant, and not everyone off the bat can afford to spend more than $100 on a pair of earplugs. Personally, because I'm really affected by noise sensitivity, and I think people who are affected tend to be really affected by it, I would recommend getting a couple of pairs of loops and getting this and just playing around with each, seeing what you like. These are actually so effective at blocking noise that I wouldn't want to wear them to the kind of situation that Engage might cover, whereby I was at a noisy bar, let's say, and I wanted to hear my interlocutor, the person I'm speaking with. These would actually be work too well. So I have a use for both, and I think if you're dealing with noise sensitivity, get one of each. But these took about 3 weeks. It was supposed to be 6 weeks. They were a bit early. So when you get them fitted, something I skipped over in my story, they pour moldable wax into your ears, and if you look up a YouTube video, it looks a bit weird and uncomfortable. It's really not uncomfortable. It just feels like you're kind of underwater, and the audiologist will kind of push them in while the mold is setting, just to make sure you've got a really good fit. And then after 10 minutes, they take them out of your ears. They send those off to the lab. The lab from the mold makes these, and then the lab sends them back to you, and after about 3 weeks or whatever it takes, you'll get your earplugs. So basically, so far, I highly recommend them. I can't believe I've spent the last probably 20 years of my life as a functioning adult dealing with noise sensitivity, and I didn't even think to look up if custom earplugs were a thing. They are a thing. They are a pretty established product, and I think if you're dealing with this issue, definitely something worth looking into. Thanks for watching today's video. Hope this was informative, and if you want to get more videos from me, subscribe here on YouTube.